To introduce the next governor of Colorado, Scott McInnis.
Thank you very much. We had just finished a tour, and I can tell you that noise of production kind of reminds you when Jackie Gleason used to say how sweet it is. And, keep the noise going. And the workers out there and the smile, I mean, the responsibilities that you have every Friday, you pay on Friday or
Yes,
once a
every
week? Every Friday, signing those checks, and the number of families, figure 900 people. How many families are dependent on these jobs? And jobs are central to the issues that we're going to discuss today. I came off the pass last night, and when I got back into phone range, I hear that Bill Ritter has called an urgent press conference. And I was sure that Governor Ritter was probably going to call a press conference based on the fact that the jobs that have been lost in this state under his administration have been dramatic. Let me say to all of you, statistically yesterday, this morning while we're all speaking, Jeannie, when we had to go out there and we talked about this, and tomorrow, hundreds of people are going to work this morning, only to find out that they're going home this afternoon without a job. That's in our state. That's not nationwide. That's in our state. So I thought that's what the governor was going to do. I thought the governor maybe was going to talk about the massive tax increases that he's put into this in place, and maybe say, Jim, that this doesn't make sense. You know, backtrack on trying to put a burden of tax on the taxpayers in this state. I thought maybe he was going to reconsider or talk about, look, folks, these fees that we've stuck you with really were taxes, and I shouldn't have been deceiving about the fact that we call them fees. They're taxes. I thought maybe the press conference was going to be, finally, I'm going to begin to respect, coming from the governor, finally, I'll respect what the voters put into place, called the Tabor Amendment. But none of that was to be. I thought maybe he'd say, I'm going to accept fiscal responsibility, like the Owens administration practiced, and the Ritter administration has yet to practice. But I thought there was hope. Let me quote to you what the press conference, the bullet that I got, which comes directly from the Ritter campaign, well, they didn't know I was on their mailing list, somehow it was forwarded to me, but it says, Governor Ritter will hold a media availability to talk about developments in the Republican Party primary for governor. Well, Governor, I understand you're scared, and you ought to be scared, and you ought to be worried about the Republicans because we're unified, and I'm going to go through a few of the points that have brought us together. The points of governance. The points that are going to take us to the platform that I've come up with on this prosperity. But that, as its blueprint, has these points of governance. Let me say to you this, I just saw it this morning. Apparently this happened yesterday. I don't know, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I like Notre Dame. The coach down there, Coach Charlie Wise, as you know, is having a tough time. Now contrast what he said yesterday compared to where our governor. That's what Charlie Wise says when they ask him, Coach, you're not doing so well. You're not putting out the kind of performance that the people expect from you. Here's his response. Who else is responsible? Now, I could sit there and try to blame everybody else, but ultimately, it falls on my shoulders, he said. Those words have never come from this governor. Governor, these jobs, don't go out and talk about jobs you've created. You have not. First of all, government doesn't create jobs.
Right.
It's families like this that create jobs through hard work, through innovation, through fiscal responsibility. Not this governor. This governor ought to stand up and say to the people of the state of Colorado, I've let you down. These job losses in Colorado shouldn't be there. And if anybody wants to do a great comparison, take our good leader, and where's the governor? Right here, and take a look at the administration. Compare the last day when Governor Owens left office, where we were then and where we are today, and then to my fellow colleagues, of course, the logical question, are we better today, Amy, than we were then? And of course, the logical answer is, no, we're not. Let me say that I wanted to visit and just talk a little about the points that we think are fundamental for the governance in this state. Rule number one, by the way, is do no harm. That's not a rule this governor adopted. Unfortunately, on the western slope, up in Larimer County, Los Animas County, La Plata County, the governor decided the way to do it is to start out with jobs, and by the way, a big job producer, with jobs that have 100% medical insurance, that are generally the highest paying blue-collar jobs, certainly in our community, great neighbors, money for our schools, money for our roads, the natural gas industry. This governor decides to do harm. Instead of adopting the policy, do no harm, just fundamental rule number one, he decides to demonize the industry. Doesn't work. It didn't work, and it's imploded. Unfortunately, we don't see much production. We got a lot of steel sitting in the yards down there, the storage yards. That's not the kind of governance. The people standing with me, and the people that have developed these points, which we've reached across the state to talk to people on these points, that's not what they see. They want the government to be reminded who they work for. They're scared. I'm telling you, people are scared out there. They are hungry to get back control of the government. They don't just look at the national situation and are scared, obviously, of the Obama policies on health care and socialization of some other things. They're worried about the lack of leadership that has been demonstrated by this governor who's been in office. This isn't his first week in office. He's had plenty of time to demonstrate leadership. He not only has not demonstrated leadership, he won't even take, like the coach, the coach takes responsibility, he doesn't. Instead, on a late Sunday night, he calls an urgent press conference because he's worried we're unified. Well, it's his lack of leadership and the principles we believe in and the fact we can do it better. This is a natural issue for us. Jobs, jobs, jobs. We understand the economy. We understand what it means to bring work for the people. We understand how to support the people out there that are really creating the jobs. Well, good is right. That's right. You'll have people in your leadership positions that you know you can take the comfort that the government is in good hands, that they remember they work for you, and you can go out and create and move the capital and move those machines, hammering away. By the way, they just finished the embassy and U.S. Embassy in Berlin. This is an international company. We're lucky we have this company. We're lucky we've been able to. Now I'm going to let my colleagues go into a little more depth, but let me talk about a few of the points that we think are necessary for governance. And we put it all out there, you're going to be able to see, but we think they are fundamental. We think they are what the people have insisted on, and we are committed to these. These are principles that we think if we govern by these principles and we follow these principles, we're going to be able to deliver this state to prosperity.